So it's really good to be here, and I'm really looking forward to all the diverse perspectives from this book throughout the day. About MicroSave, we've been working to improve social and financial inclusion and economic for low-income groups for about more than 20 years now. We've been working in most developing nations. A large part of our work has evolved throughout these years with the context. And non-farm livelihood specifically has been sort of a core area. So apart from basically farm-based livelihoods, non-farm livelihoods and entrepreneurship entrepreneurship per se forms a major part of the economy, as well as the options that these low-income groups have to earn a living. And therein, there are a lot of institutions that are catering to the growth of these enterprises. So that is where MicroSave Consulting basically comes in, to support and enable institutions to provide customer-centric services. Like the researcher before me also pointed out, that there is no customer in the offerings, right? So we help organizations and we enable institutions to bring that customer's perspective, to bring that need on the forefront and that behavior. To make it more specific, we've been working with Niti Aayog as a development partner to support financial inclusion in the Transformation of Aspirational Districts program. Now, this program focuses to improve the economic outcomes throughout backward districts in the country. They're termed aspirational because they're on the path to progress. So in our work for financial inclusion in these districts, a major entrepreneurship scheme is of the business correspondent network. Now, these agents are an extended arm of the banks. They provide financial services to the most underbanked and most remote pockets in the rural villages. So what we're doing now as a major part of this work is we are supporting banks and the corporate agent networks to enable that more standard services, more customer-centric services go out to the agents, and as well as we enable them to sort of cater to their customers in a more customer-centric way. There is a whole host of work that ranges from institutional development to behavioral communication. So, for instance, insurance is typically been a very hard product to sell, even if you have plenty of resources. All of us would have gone through a lot of internal discussions of the family in order to purchase an insurance product. Now, imagine how difficult it is for a woman in a village in Jharkhand to or in any other district to understand the importance of insurance, to get access to information for this, and then enroll onto these schemes and know that year after year I have to renew this, and this will give my family the support that they need. So that their customer journey typically has a lot of challenges, and we work to identify these challenges, understand their perspectives, and develop solutions and interventions to enable this journey. This is one part of the work we're doing with Niti Aayog on supporting entrepreneurship. Another broad level of work that we do is we work with institutions to support micro lending to micro entrepreneurs. Move away from, or let's say, a graduate program. So typically microfinance institutions would give out group loans, wherein the ticket size is smaller. Now, for an entrepreneur who has a small kirana shop, if they want to grow their business, their credit needs are different. So we work with at least 4 financial service institutions as part of a larger grant with Mike Lensus and Dell Foundation. What we did was understand the needs of these entrepreneurs, why they need finance, what is the kind of product they're looking at, what are their behaviors, how do they prefer to pay out, how do they prefer to use this money, and then develop an individual lending vertical for all these institutions. So the idea is, if you work with service providers, with institutions, and support them in their journey, the scope to create impact is that much larger, especially with the enterprise segment. Another major focus area is for women entrepreneurs. I mean, the labor force participation in India only is at about 24%, quite low, and a comprehensive survey tells us that about 1/3 of Indian homemakers express an interest in working. So why aren't they able to? If there is a chance that they can take their own finances in their hands and grow their own business, then why are they not able to? So a major area of our work has also been to work with institutions to understand these enterprises and develop solutions that enable their businesses and their growth. In context of this group, where there are so many diverse perspectives, what we're hoping to see is find synergies of where we can work together, do rapid prototyping and testing of solutions, understand your clients with you, and then we bring global expertise also in terms of our work from Asia and Africa. So with the local sort of local expertise, there is a global best practice complementarity that we hope to bring here. I think that's all I have to say for now. If there are any questions, I'm open.
Thank you, Ishita, for sharing your insights and the practices around key aspects of understanding how we could derive more client-based and more need-based solutions in coming days. Thank you. Moving on, we have our next speaker, Ms. Akansha Sharma, Head CSR and Sustainability, Sterilite Technologies.
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me here. So I'm here basically to talk about rethinking the rural economy. And when I look at this very important subject, I look at it from the lens of gender inclusion, particularly when it comes to the rural economic sector, where women play a very essential role. However, due to patriarchal setup, particularly in countries like India, where a large portion of these women have been excluded and not are part of the mainstream economic contribution. I think it's difficult to create a coexisting model which is really inclusive of all the elements and members of a society. So while talking about it, I'll just touch a little bit upon my experiences in the rural sector, particularly related to women empowerment, and how things have changed over a decade. So as we all know that how deeply patriarchy is embedded in the rural India, and where women members are not even allowed to go out of their houses, forget about contributing to income generating activities or have a name of their own. They need to seek permissions. To a rapid shift today, which I will not basically call rapid because it has really taken years of sacrifice by many women, and a long history of violence and dominance by different elements of society. So to today, where at least there are gateways to rural economy, where today women now, because of digitization, because of innovation and accessibility, have access to global marketplaces. They can make handicraft products and they can sell it globally. So I'll just talk about one of our initiatives, which we have taken, called Jeevan Jyoti Women Empowerment Program, which is a replicable model as named by UNDP, and where we are actually providing total empowerment to these women members in the rural areas, in Maharashtra particularly. We have created a center of excellence for skilling these women and linking them with the income generating activities. And not just that, we have also created a production house which is linked to the Fab India products. And now the women who were not earlier allowed to even come out of their houses are making fantastic products, sourcing, and are linked to the supply chain of IKEA Global, Fab India, and directly also selling it to Amazon, Saheli, which is a global marketplace. So that, when I say, is real empowerment to us, especially, we are getting a lot of phone calls by these community members, and it gives me immense pleasure when I hear stories like, in spite of lockdown, when people in much bigger cities were suffering and they were not able to contribute much to the economic activities, how these women were really going out and all over and actually making and selling products on Amazon. So I think that is empowerment, at how this technology and the revolution related to the new age sciences and innovation has empowered people sitting in some extreme remote village. So building further onto it, I'll also talk about one beautiful initiative, that how young girls are coming out of the age-old barriers, especially in initiatives like where we have the nursing training initiatives. We have a full-fledged and holistic program for skilling young women and girls on a range of vocational courses, and how these women are now coming out doing jobs which are sometimes even not in their hometowns or villages, and contributing to the mainstream economy. Because I believe everything boils down to economy if you look at it broadly, and all the development sector gaps that we see today in terms of SDGs, the Global Development Agenda, and all others are just manifestations of why people are not included in the mainstream economic contribution, and that is why there is exclusion. That is why we see disparity. So I think accessibility towards economic contribution is the basic and the foremost thing that you can do to empower, which we are trying to do. And I think this is a wonderful platform to exchange ideas and knowledge and experiences of each other and contribute more. Thank you. I would like to see if there are any questions.
Thank you, Akansha. As I mentioned earlier, we'll take questions at the end of the session, so I request you to stay with us till then. And thanks a lot for touching upon the practices that you shared, because it's so holistic in nature. It involves the women, also reviving the local crafts, also linking it further to the global markets. So it really brings an opportunity for them to contribute substantially to the household income. Thank you. Moving on, our next presentation is by Mr. Swadesh Saxena from Arvind Foundation. Swadesh sir, are you online? Okay, so I think you are not audible. Maybe you could raise the volume for your system. You need to unmute yourself. Yes. I think you need to increase the volume.
Now am I audible?
Yes, this is much better. Please begin.
Bhagyashree, am I audible?
Yes, sir. So please begin.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Now, okay.
Yes.
Very good afternoon. Currently, I am representing the Arvind Foundation. Arvind Foundation is
Maharashtra also is the 2015 registered CSR arms of Arvind Limited. We have 5 or 6 sectors on which livelihood is a relatively new sector, and around 1.5 year we have started livelihood segment as a bigger concept of Aarti. Aarti is the Arvind Rural Transformation Initiative. Under this, the livelihood, we have started activity, and we believe in programmatic approach, because we think that any project is not going to turn around the livelihood. For the livelihood, we needed a little bit lengthy approach, at least 3 to 5 years. So the preparatory phase, we normally try to design for that program more than 1 year. So now under the preparatory phase, we have developed the extensive database. Here I would like to discuss about the process and what we are facing on challenges on those, means the livelihood initiation process. Okay. So our whole initiative is developed in 15 villages of Kalol Taluka. They are means Gandhinagar district headquarters, near about 20 kilometers distance is there, and poverty is very, just a peri-urban area. Now the cash component is quite high. Nobody is interested in the agriculture. Nobody is interested in the lengthy skill development. Everybody is there, the blue collar job. That is the characteristics of that area. So designing the livelihood there, because after 40-45 years of age, they are the most sufferers. When the industry, they become obsolete due to the technology transfer and all, and women due to their family problems not able to concentrate on the wage employment. That is the really means characteristics there. Next, that's the 15 villages we have discussed in the Kalol Taluka. 20 kilometers away from Gandhinagar district headquarters. Next, local challenges. We have identified during our extensive survey there is a 9 type of local challenges. Lack of skill is there. Seasonality in income. Sometimes when the highly industrial productivity is going on, there is a high income there. Due to some vegetable farming, income is seasonality fluctuates. Saturation in the client's village. That means a particular business, when the one person starts the business, the whole village try to copy, and the similar way the saturation occurs there. Insecure credit towards client. Whenever this type of behavior due to the seasonality and this type of fast migration, insecure credits there. Seed money and working capital for the starting a business is a big challenge. Lack of mentorship or guidance for starting any enterprise, because non-farm activities, continuous mentoring and hand-holding is important. This the lack of this. Girls' education is very low. Lack of clear title assets. To leverage their assets, to come under the banking umbrella, they don't have any clear title, so that they can avail the bigger credits. And overall backwardness in the mindset is there. Means try to copy all the things, don't go for the innovations. No, means they are avoiding the technology uses, that type of characteristics, and this all is a perpetual problem of lack of education. So based on that, we did an extensive study and then data analysis and all this. Then we identified around 35 subsectors and 9 major sectors. Here I will just explain you how to the sectors where the opportunity exists: household and non-household manufacturing, handicrafts and tailoring, processing, automobile repairs, construction, transport, trade, communication, community and personal services like banking, correspondence. So under these 9 subsectors, 9 sectors, we have divided 35 subsectors. Each and we means here the villages are almost covering 2,000 to 5,000 population, means 500 to 800 households. So each and every village up to the 35 subsectors, we try to develop the extensive plan. Under this plan, 35 families is going to associate with each of sector. So that's no saturation. Everybody gets full playing field in their village. So total 35 families, non-farm based cluster. in each village. We are planning to develop like that way based on these 9 sectors and under these subsectors, 35 subsectors. Next. What is our approach and strategies? We believe in long-term strategy but livelihood. Recently, you have seen that under the lockdown there was a crisis emerges. So sometimes crop failure or industries up and down fluctuations. Short-term strategy is there. For short-term strategy, we try to less than 2 to 3 months. We think that engage the person into the wage employment. Under these, we are believing on the industry linkages, mapping of existing skills, and then try to sell those skills in the nearby industries. And mostly focusing under the short term is the wage employment. And for the long term strategy, we are relying on the skill development, vocational education, self-employment, and financial assets creation. With the banking linkages, Jan Dhan Yojana and banking correspondence both are helping us in a great way, and this way we are promoting self-employment with the financial and implementation. What's our implementation approach? We based on institutional partnership with skill training institutes and industries. We believe to leverage the infrastructure, not to co-creation or a separate creation of infrastructure. Like when we come to know that particular training is going on that particular area, so we never try to duplicate. We try to link that and leverage that skill with them. Mentoring and counseling. We have developed the platform based on now working on to develop an online platform because social distancing norms is going on there. So mentoring and counseling where everyone regarding their employment in further education come to our platform and then get a counseling and mentoring with the industry leader. Skill building and assets creation. Assets creation, we continuously organize workshop with the bankers because we believe that if the person come into the banking umbrella, automatically their financial skills and financial growth will take place. So the Seva Bank is helping in there in a lot way with us. We are regularly organized about the banking skills. Online database of skill set and skill gap, because co-creation and crowdsourcing is a new terms of the business and new industries. So the exact mapping of skill set and where the gap lies, and gap we are trying to fulfill with the leveraging partnership with the industry. That's why we may try to make them more sellable. Crowdsourcing of skill assets for a bigger objective. The greater objective, we are thinking that in 2 to 3 years or 4 years, we think that in each and every village, we have to develop a non-farm based 30 to 40 families for a non-farm based livelihood so that the role model will be created there. That long-term strategy, we are working on that, and they think that positive results will start around 15 to 18 months. So now we are on the verge of the completion of the 1 year or 12 months. So some green shoots are visible there, and we are still working on that. Thank you, Bhavya.
Thank you, Swadesh, sir. So we have the last presentation for this cohort by Mr. Kiran Mani, Program Manager, Swayam Shiksha Prayog. Kiran, are you online with us?
Hello. Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Please begin.
Hi. Good afternoon. मैं किरण बात कर रहा हूँ, किरण माने बात कर रहा हूँ. I am from स्वयं शिक्षण प्रयोग. Next slide, please. स्वयं शिक्षण प्रयोग का मेन मिशन जो है कि लो इनकम में जो महिलाएं हैं उनको एम्पावर करके उनका इंक्लूसिव और सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट करना है. मेनली वुमेन फार्मर्स एंड वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को डिफरेंट टाइप का ट्रेनिंग करके उनका इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस इंक्रीज करना है। मेनली स्वयं शिक्षण प्रयोग 4 सेक्टर में काम करता है। एक है कि वुमन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, सेकंड है कि वुमन लेड क्लाइमेट रेजिलेंस फार्मर्स, थर्ड है कि एनर्जी एंड वाटर एंड इन्वायरमेंट, फोर्थ है कि हेल्थ एंड न्यूट्रिशन। मेनली एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में करंटली स्वयं शिक्षण प्रयोग नेशनल NRLM और MSLM के साथ एक पार्टनरशिप में एक प्रोजेक्ट इंप्लीमेंट करने में, उसी के बारे में मैं आपको कंटिन्यू बताने वाला हूँ। रिसेंटली स्वयं शिक्षण प्रयोग 7 स्टेट में 30 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 2000 विलेज में काम कर रहा है। इसके अंडर 1,80,000 महिला वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, फार्मर्स एंड लीडर के थ्रू ये सब काम हो रहा है। इनडायरेक्टली 50 लाख SSP काम कर रहा है। सेकंड प्लीज, सेकंड स्लाइड। भाग्यश्री, हेलो हेलो
Hello?
हेलो।
Yes, Kiran.
हाँ, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड।
Yeah, it's me.
ये हमारा जो
Hello?
स्टार्टअप विलेज एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप ये जो प्रोग्राम है, हेलो, कैन यू हियर मी?
Yes, yes, you're audible. Please continue.
लास्ट 4 ईयर से महाराष्ट्र में हम NRLM और MSLM के पार्टनरशिप में एक प्रोग्राम इंप्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं, स्टार्टअप विलेज एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप। बेसिकली महाराष्ट्र में सोलापुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ड्राउट का बहुत बड़ा सिचुएशन क्रिएट हुआ है। बेसिकली मोगोल एंड बार्शी ब्लॉक है जहाँ ड्राउट का ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट हुआ है। उसी ब्लॉक के लेके एक स्टडी किया था, उसमें ये एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का प्रोग्राम हमने इम्प्लीमेंट करना शुरू किया था। इसका मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव जो है कि ये विलेज लेवल से रूरल के जो पुअर लोग हैं, सिंगल हेडेड फैमिली है, डिफरेंट कम्युनिटी कैटेगरी के जो लोग हैं, उनको बिजनेस में लाना और उनका इनकम इंक्रीज करना है एक मेन इसका ये। सेकंड जो ऑब्जेक्टिव जो गोल है कि इनको अलग अलग डिपार्टमेंट मार्केट लिंकेजेस करना, ये हमारा इसमें गोल था। तो ये प्रोग्राम का एक वो 240 विलेज में हमने इसमें काम किया है कि जिसमें हमने 36,000 महिलाओं को अवेयर किया है। इसमें से प्लस महिलाओं को हमने एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट का ट्रेनिंग भी दिया है, जिसमें से 4,000 प्लस महिलाएं अलग अलग बिजनेस में आए हैं। तो 100 टाइप ऑफ बिजनेसेस इसमें है, ट्रेडिंग, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड सर्विस टाइप के बिजनेस है, जिसमें से ये महिलाएं लास्ट 4 ईयर से काम कर रही है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। हमारा जो स्ट्रैटेजी, हमारा जो अप्रोच है, मेनली हमें भी स्टार्ट में चैलेंज था कि महिलाएं बिजनेस में आएंगे तो फिर उनका बिजनेस वायबल होगा क्या फैमिली सपोर्ट होगा क्या, लोग कम्युनिटी उनको एक्सेप्ट करेंगे क्या, में 10 दिन के लिए बैठेंगे क्या। ये सब जो चैलेंजेस थे हमारे पास, बहुत बड़ा चैलेंजेस था। सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज था कि फाइनेंस एंड मार्केटिंग का कैसे होगा, इनको कैसे सपोर्ट मिलेगा और महिलाएं आगे। हमने इसमें 2 टाइप का अप्रोच हमने ये किया। एक है कि क्लासरूम, जिसमें हमने ट्रेनिंग जो सर्टिफिकेशन जो किया है, सर्टिफिकेशन के साथ उनका मोबिलाइजेशन है, आइडेंटिफिकेशन है, उनका ट्रेनिंग है, उनका इंटरनल पीयर लर्निंग है, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स मीट है। ये जो हमने अप्रोच किया, इसमें से हमें ऐसे दिखाई दिया कि महिलाओं का ये सब अप्रोच में महिलाओं का इंटरेस्ट बढ़ते गया और धीरे धीरे महिलाएं खुद बिजनेस प्लान लिखते गई और उन्होंने अपना बिजनेस भी खड़ा करना शुरू किया। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। हमारा सेकंड स्ट्रैटेजी और सेकंड अप्रोच है कि मेंटरिंग हैंड होल्डिंग अप्रोच जो है हमारा है कि चैलेंज था, तो उसको चैलेंज को ओवरकम करने के लिए हमने स्टाफ में फैमिली काउंसलिंग हमने ज़्यादा उसके ऊपर हमने ज़्यादा फोकस किया था। तो फैमिली काउंसलिंग के बाद जो हमने महिलाओं को ट्रेनिंग किया था, तो वो ट्रेनिंग के थ्रू फिर फैमिली के साथ बैठ के उनका बिजनेस आइडेंटिफिकेशन के लिए उनको हमने सपोर्ट किया। हमारा कम्युनिटी लेवल का जो कैडर है उनके थ्रू बिजनेस सपोर्ट किया। बिजनेस सिलेक्शन करने के बाद अभी हमने देखा है कि बिजनेस विदाउट बिजनेस प्लान जो भी बिजनेस खड़ा होता है मैक्सिमम बिजनेस क्लोज होने के चांसेस रहते हैं। तो बिजनेस प्लान प्रिपेयर करते हैं तो थोड़ा सा एक आइडिया आता है कि कितना कैपिटल लगता है और कैसे बिजनेस आगे वाइबल होगा। तो कम्युनिटी कैडर के साथ बैठ के उन्होंने अपना बिजनेस प्लान भी प्रिपेयर करना शुरू किया लोग महिलाओं ने। वो बिजनेस प्लान करने के बाद फिर उन्होंने सब मार्केट लिंक करके सब अपना बिजनेस लॉन्च किया। देन हमने क्रेडिट लिंकेज भी उनको किया है। तो फर्स्ट हमें चैलेंज था कि महिलाएं ज़्यादा क्रेडिट फाइनेंस के लिए ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम आ रहा था कि बिजनेस बढ़ रहा था और महिलाओं को फाइनेंस का प्रॉब्लम आ रहा था। तो 1.5 ईयर हमने ये फेस किया कि बैंक वाले कोई लोन देने के लिए रेडी नहीं थे महिलाओं को, क्योंकि महिला ये रिटर्न करेगी क्या नहीं, और महिला ये बिजनेस चला सकती है, वो थोड़ा सा बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज था।
Kiran, sorry to interrupt you, but we would request you to quickly summarize further slides and close in 30 seconds.
Sure. तो हमने अलग अलग एंटरप्राइज मीट करके एक क्रेडिट लिंकेजेस किया। देन हमने ब्रांडिंग पैकेजिंग में भी उन महिलाओं को लाया और हमने महिलाओं का ग्रुप बना के उनको मार्केट लिंकेजेस किया है। तो एक एग्जांपल मैं बता सकता हूँ कि इसमें से एक महिला ने 50 गांव के जो अलग अलग प्रोडक्ट महिला बनाए थे, तो उसको रॉ प्रोडक्ट का रेडी करके उसको लेबलिंग करके वो अभी मार्केट में भी सेल कर रही है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड भाग्यश्री। हाँ, इम्पैक्ट देखा जाए तो हमारा जो इसका जो आउटरीच है जो है कि 98% हमारा एक सक्सेस है। इसमें हमने क्रेडिट एक्सेस करके 5.80 करोड़ का हमने क्रेडिट एक्सेस महिलाओं को करके दिया है। अभी तक देखा जाए तो 210 करोड़ का टर्नओवर हुआ है। डिफरेंट टाइप का अलग अलग लाइसेंस है, उनको लीगल सपोर्ट हमने 2000 महिलाओं को किया है। कन्वर्जेंस हुए अलग अलग स्कीम से, पंतप्रधान एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरल स्कीम के अंदर हमने 3.80 करोड़ का लिंकेजेस किया है। महिलाओं का लास्ट 3.5 ईयर में 60 करोड़ को महिलाओं ने प्योर इनकम जनरेट किया है। इसमें से महिलाओं ने एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी जनरेट किया है। तो इसमें से देखा जाए तो कि 53% जो डिफरेंट कैटेगरी की महिलाएं हैं, इसमें से हमने उनको बिजनेस में लाया है। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। अभी जो मैंने बताया कि 39 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट है, इसमें से 210,000 का करोड़ 210 करोड़ दोनों का टर्नओवर है। 63 उनका करोड़ उनका इनकम है। नेक्स्ट प्लीज।
Kiran, we request you to quickly wrap up in 10 seconds.
Next 2 minutes.
10 seconds. We are already
sure.
overboard the time.
Okay. Next slide please. इसमें से देखा जाए कि 4,000 to 10,000 और 10,000 to 20,000 के इनकम में ज्यादा महिलाओं का नंबर हमें दिखाई दे रहा है। प्लीज नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। एक लास्ट केस स्टडी मैं आपको शेयर करता हूँ कि ये ताई जो है कि स्टार्ट में फार्मिंग करती थी, बट जब हमारा ट्रेनिंग दिया और बिजनेस पे आई तो फिर वो उन्होंने 8 टाइप के अलग अलग बिजनेसेस शुरू किए और लोकल जो मार्केट है हाट है वहाँ जाके उन्होंने सेल करना शुरू किया है। तो लास्ट 3.5 ईयर में उनका 16 लाख का टर्नओवर हुआ है और अभी मंथली वो 30,000 प्योरली कमा रही है। तो थैंक यू भाग्यश्री।
Thank you, Kiran. So I quickly want to check if we have Akansha with us still online. There is a question for Akansha. Okay, till the time Akansha joins, there is another question for Swadesh sir. Swadesh sir, if you could take it first and then we move on to Akansha.
Yes, please.
Okay, sir. So you spoke about different initiatives in terms of micro enterprises as well as skill building. So the question is, how do we ensure that post the training period is over, how do we ensure the employability and there is continuity in terms of wage disbursement?
Perfect. As we discussed that we don't have our own any training systems regarding this particular program. Okay. Hello.
Right. Yes.
We tied up with the industries. Like let's suppose in our garment sector there are 4 and 5 type of different activities. So there we identified that what skill type of persons required and what their skill set. So they simultaneously run the skill program there. So we associate our candidates to them to go for that particular training. So they train the person as per their need, and then they entertain them as their employee. And industry is highly regulated, systematic industry, so the wage disbursement is a particular norm, you can say, or is a legal binding. So such type of things there. We never believe means working in the back door, employing with the back door. We directly tied up with the industries and ensure that our candidates should get there and that they get employment with directly. Because and we got a easier for that, being an industry person, we have a direct connection with the means in this particular Santej area more than 500 small and big industries are working there, that particular pocket, around 500. Okay, so most of the industries we have a direct touch as a being their partners. We sometimes sit with their different colleagues at the meeting, so directly we are in touch with them. So that way we ensure that the proper salary, wages and all the things will go there. As well as there is a certain regulatory mechanism also. If salary, but that case doesn't arise in our means tell our experience that somebody will not get the due salary.